Question time.
Yeah, please identify yourself.
Sir, my name is Nikhil. I have one question here. Now we are talking about the green initiatives and green marketing. But if we look at the recent trends in Asia, probably China and India, China is growing at around 48% in the green area of manufacturing. The green panels, solar panels, wind energy. Everything it's at 48% compared to India's growth at around 6.5 to 7%. So don't you think that the market for the green is gradually shifting to China rather than coming to India, and we are lagging behind? Or as a European authority in the manufacturing sector, is India doing anything at it, or are we just watching it go by?
Very good question. I think the difference between the approach that has taken place between India and China is that China is actually looking at this as a global business opportunity. We are still not doing that. I think there are a few firms in India. Suzlon is one of the most important in that process in wind energy, where the whole approach is that made in India for the world. And that's why China has actually, you see, this is not new for China. This is something that China has been doing. Today, you look at Walmart. I understand, I'm not sure exactly what the numbers are, but it's somewhere between a quarter and a third of whatever they sell comes from China. So it's been a whole process in China to create manufacturing capacity, create employment, and supply the world. And so going to green products was a natural extension of it. So I think that we need to understand that the opportunity for us is in all products in manufacturing, and especially in green products. But I think it's a matter of approach. We've got to be able to understand that manufacturing, together with innovation, product design, and the whole delivery chain that goes with it, is what will eventually make you efficient enough to be able to be an interesting supplier to world markets.
Can we move around, please?
Hello, sir. This is Shashank. So my question is, you talked about infrastructure. Now in today's scenario, we talk a lot about some new trends in infrastructure like infrastructure outsourcing. So your take on how it is happening in manufacturing industry today?
Infrastructure outsourcing. What do you mean by that?
I mean that you don't procure your own, you don't have your own infrastructure. You take your services from others, those who have the built-in infrastructure already.
No, I think the whole debate on outsourcing versus insourcing, whether it's to do with infrastructure or any other services, I think the question that has to be asked is to yourself is that can you do it more efficiently or not? If the answer to that is that you cannot do it efficiently, then you outsource it. Our experience is actually in manufacturing, most of the time we have found that we save huge amounts of money in insourcing. Because I think we don't recognize that when you outsource something, that the managing the supply chain in terms of the accounting that is there, the regulations that are there, those take up a huge amount of time and effort. So unless it's a really big opportunity to outsource, it's probably not worth it. But every company has to do that, understand its own business model and do that. I don't think there's a simple answer that I can give you for that.
Do you have questions from that side? If anybody is asking questions, raise the hand. He will pick up whom to give the next question.
Hello, sir. Can the poor really afford green energy, which is currently around 3 or 4 times costlier than coal?
Yeah, that's exactly the point I was trying to make on the subsidies. Because today, kerosene is really cheap because it's heavily subsidized. So tomorrow, if we change that whole paradigm, that we're not actually going to subsidize petroleum-based products, and put the subsidy actually on green energy, then we can achieve that. So, but it's a process. I don't think that you can achieve it in a very short time. Today, most poor people either depend on wood that's been picked up in forests or kerosene if they can afford it. So I think that changing that paradigm is not going to be easy. There's a whole series of political discussions that will happen. You know that there is a closure, so-called Bharat Bandh on Monday, to protest against even the slight increase in petrol and diesel. I think the point that the government spokesmen have been making also is on affordability. You see, you've got to be, I was in a meeting the other day with a firebrand activist, and she was saying that, because I've been arguing with her for years about removing subsidies in petroleum, and her argument always was that the exact same argument you're hearing, that the poor depend on subsidies. Now now that she finds that there are plenty of diesel-driven BMWs and Mercedes-Benzes on the road, now she's coming around to my thought that yes, we should remove the subsidy on diesel, and make it the same price as petrol. But up till now, she was arguing with me every day. See, so I think it's an evolution. I think you've got to understand what are the benefits that you will get from green energy, as opposed to the benefits that you have got in the past from coal. Even coal, there's a lot that can be done. There's critical, supercritical, hypercritical, all sorts of new processes are coming which will make it more efficient and less polluting. From coal to gas, coal to liquids, all that. I mean, there's huge amount of innovation and technology that is possible. But at the end of the day, I think that when you really look at the subsidies that are there implicit today, in fact, in the US, the subsidies that have been given for oil exploration, like the deep sea exploration that has been in the news over the last couple of months with the oil spills, the type of subsidies that have gone into that type of business is enormous. It's billions and billions of dollars. And the question now that you have to ask yourself is that the answer to our future energy, or is there an alternative?
Good morning, sir. This is Nipesh. Sir, I would like to ask a question in terms of the carbon credit policies providers. Where do you see the future of India in consultancy in carbon credit providers in the coming decade?
See, the CDM mechanism was developed because there was a belief that that you will not be able to economically invest in green technologies and alternate fuels, etc., because the cost will not allow you to do so. So the CDM mechanism was basically built around this hypothesis. And the whole idea was that anybody should get CDM credits only if the project was not viable without it. Unfortunately, the way it has moved today is that there are thousands and thousands of projects which are viable on their own without the credits, but still get credits. So that whole system that is there today, has to be relooked at. And that is part of the Kyoto process that's going on. The meeting in Copenhagen was actually supposed to discuss the future of the CDM, but nobody got around to it because there were other things that they had to do. So my personal belief is that it's a good idea, it's a good concept, but the way that it has been implemented so far is very, very detrimental to the whole basis that you would give credits only where the project would be unviable without it. So I know a lot of accounting companies have made huge amounts of money in consulting as a result, but that's not the purpose of the CDM.